We're actually recording that as well, just so you know. So money, right? Money
Definitely.
segment.
Yep.
Ready? Money segment. All right. So this is all about trying not to go broke and record high inflation. That's what we're going to talk about.
Fair enough.
Right?
It's a pretty important topic.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Hello, Austin, Texas. You're listening to the Home Team with Troy and Wyatt.
We're bringing sports and money
Together for your education and entertainment. If you have any questions about anything we say or do today, which you might, judging from the way this one started out, please reach out to me at 855-299-HOME or the website, which is loansfromtroy.com. And this segment is brought to you by Security National Mortgage, where we turn houses into homes. And always, please don't forget that we're on the YouTube now.
and the YouTube. That's right.
Yeah, and that's the Home Team 512. We're also on the Facebook.
The Facebook.
Which is the Home Team 512. Catching the.
And the.
Yeah. We make that as easy as possible.
Yeah. The.
Yeah. So this is the fun part for me.
Okay.
This is money.
Money.
All the other stuff. I say that.
This is your most favorite.
This is
what keeps you up at night.
It gets me out of the bed in the morning.
It gets you out of bed in the morning.
Both. It does both. It keeps me up at night and it gets me up in the morning. It's money. Again, we've talked about it many times. I believe that most people today have no true concept of money, how it works, what it can do for you, what it can do against you, all of those things, the power of compounding, all of that sort of stuff. So with that, of course, we brought someone on who is a real estate expert, but also understands the power of money.
Yeah.
Matthew with the Circle G Ranch Group, and that's .com.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows the stuff.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Heck yeah. It's kind of, homes, right? Inflation, the Fed funds. I mean, that's pretty much anyone in real estate. That's pretty much all we're talking about right now. Inflation at one time got as high or if not higher than it was in the 80s. But the difference is in the 80s, the Fed fund rate got to like 15 or 16%. We're at 5 now. So can you imagine your credit card costs you 45% instead of 25%?
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what was happening in the 80s. So as bad as the Fed, in my opinion, has handled this, it could have been a lot worse.
Well, when the government's involved, it can always be worse.
I'm kidding. Yeah. Like I said, they were too late to start. It appears they're going to be too late to stop. And so we, as the common folk of America, have to figure out how to live inside of what's going on. I mean, gas is holding steady at $3-something a gallon. It's holding steady now. So I mean, that's kind of who we are. Groceries have stabilized. So I mean, eggs are not going to be $15 a carton. They're going to stick around $9. I just cry every time I say that out loud. Eggs, a carton of eggs got to.
Hey, I'm selling them for $5 a dozen.
Well, those are fresh farm eggs.
Yes.
That's worth it.
That's the good stuff.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah, so food is stabilized. So as far as the horrific part of the inflation, it feels like we have gotten past it. That's what it feels like, the horrific part. So now we've got to figure out how to live in this spot. We've got, if you can't pay your bills, you've got to make adjustments at this point. It's not, there's, the cost of living's not going to go down. The inflation rate is higher than the wage growth. Wage growth is around 4, inflation's 5s. So that's my opinion. What I think you have to start focusing on is your expenses.
I think the typical families tighten their belt with discretionary spending. Mm-hmm. They're not going out to eat as much, or they're tightening their belt in some regards. So that's the first place to go.
And that was I agree in the fact that like Kalahari, big place in Round Rock, and it's oh my god, it's so much fun, and I have a couple kids and all that sort of stuff. So this year, we went every spring break, first weekend of every spring break since it's been open. So I guess that's now 3 or 4, I can't remember. Right? Take the kids. It's not for us. It's just across the I-35, so it's not a big deal. But we go there, have a good time. The first 2 years, jam-packed. I mean, jam-packed. This year, not at all. I mean, there were 40 to 50% less people there this year than ever before. So, and that's where the recessions could come from. I'm not going to claim it because I'm not going to throw it out there like it's happening. But I'm just saying,
when you're focused on putting milk and bread and eggs in your refrigerator, the water park can win.
yeah, and that's kind of what's going on. And so that's good. But the problem is that, again, just like the government, I think people started too late. They started when they ran out of discretion. They started when they kind of ran out of credit room, is where I think most Americans started. They were kind of using their credit cards and, it'll get better and I'll fix it next month, because that's the way it worked a year ago. And so
that's 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people. So now there's a major reconstruction of their financial situation. That's finances.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. That's
finances. Financial situation means finances.
I love it.
Gotcha.
I love it.
Or just created a new word.
It's a good word.
It's
a
the
good word.
unabridged dictionary.
I like it. I like it.
And so I think people need to. They're gonna have first place you start is a budget.
Yep.
I mean, that's the funniest thing to me. Whenever somebody talks to me about their financial situation, I ask them, "What's your budget?" And they look at me like I'm speaking, Latin. What do you mean? Your budget?
Yeah.
Yeah. How much do you spend a month?
Money in, money out.
I don't know. Well, how much do you make? How much do you bring home? Well, I could look. I'm like, well, if that's the first thing, and I think it's the last place people go is to their own. They look. Everybody's upset about inflation, which rightfully so, but the moment it got tight should have been the first time. Like, it's funny, my wife is not very happy at me right now because for the last 6 months I've been talking about how broke we are and how horrible and we can't spend and all this sort of stuff. So, you see it coming. You have to make adjustments as soon as you see it coming, and I think people are too late in that aspect.
Right.
I was listening or watching or reading, I can't really remember, but we've always talked about, watch the pennies. We've talked about, cutting out the Starbucks coffees, the 15 Spotifys, and stuff like that. That's, when you look at your debt, there's $400 or $500 a month in stupid money.
Right.
Right? I mean, I have Netflix, Disney Plus, ESPN, and local deal. Well, now all of a sudden something comes up, so it's on Paramount Plus, right? Because I wanted to watch 1883 on Paramount. Well, I got to get Paramount Plus, and then there's this, and I'm just like, I can't do it. So we've gotten rid of all of those. You can't do it. You have to make sacrifices in your area. The Disney Plus. I have 3 kids under 6, so Disney Plus is almost a necessity.
It's either that or counseling fees for you, right?
But again, still that's like $100 a year for TV entertainment. A year, TV at your house is $100 a month, or more, So
right.
Those are the kind of things you need to look at, and how you need to figure out where you can save your funds. But there's another thought that I was hearing, and they say, well, you should be concentrating on the big stuff, right? Cars, houses, rent, those sort of things. Totally for that. But it's a conundrum, if you have 3 kids and you want to put them in an area where that they have a quality school, you're going to spend more on housing. I mean, that's just the way it works, So you have to balance all of that. So it's funny, I've always used the money that I saved and not spending to do the things I want, vacations, stuff like that. It's like, hey, well, we're going to save this much in our daily bills for our vacation,
right?
And I don't think people think that way.
Well, they need to, obviously, and we've had a lot of abundance, and we've talked about, especially in our field, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes overabundance, because then things start dropping that way.
You get comfortable.
You get very comfortable,
and you start overlooking things.
And you overspend, right? Because I've always wanted to do this. So then, like you said, you get the Paramount, you get the Spotify, you get everything else. Now it's time to recorrect.
Can I get another year or 2 out of my vehicle instead of buying a new one?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the kind of conversations you need to have.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And they are, and that's vehicles. I mean, if you subscribe to Dave Ramsey, the vehicle is the single biggest waste of your money ever.
I'm just trying to find a rich woman today. That's it. That's my game. Do you think it's a good game plan?
Yeah. Problem is, I found one, and she won't give me none of her money.
Is that what it is? Oh, okay. I thought that was my way out. I guess not. I have to rethink it. I guess I need to cancel my Bumble. I thought that was my way. I'm just playing. No.
And one of the other things you said when we started the segment was, people don't know how to use money. People don't know how to make it work for them.
Mm-hmm.
I had a conversation with somebody the other day. He had a chunk of money sitting in their savings account. I'm like, what are you earning on that? And they're like 0.001 whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, let's go buy something and you
Sure.
can make 6%,
Yeah.
or invest it in this and you can make 4%.
Right.
You know, that money has to work for you.
Yeah, there's other savings accounts that
Yeah.
are paying 4.5%, and people are just too lazy to move their checking account to go from 0.9 to 4.5%. 4.5 doesn't even keep up with inflation,
Yeah.
but at least you're close. I mean, that's a savings account, you know.
But that idle money is the worst.
It's the
If you
worst.
have it, the idle money is your killer.
Yeah, and we've definitely talked about that. We've talked about dollar cost averaging. You get into something, you know, I think, you know, buying stocks and things like that can be very, very intimidating to people. I have a very simple plan. You know, you pick 4 companies that you love and trust that have stability. I like them to have other options, but pick 4, and then, you know, pick an S&P type stock like a QQQ or something like that, DVRGO, something like that, something that mimics the S&P, because the S&P since the 70s is like a 9%. Right. So if you just dollar cost average into the S&P, you're going to make 9% of your money.
That's what Warren Buffett does. I mean, he invests in things that he believes in.
Yeah, and that's it. And that's kind of where the concept comes from, you know. And so it's really simple. I mean, if you have any questions about that, I would love to answer. It's very simple. It's very secure. It's a long haul plan. There's no such. I have no plans for getting rich quick. I mean, other than scratching off lotteries, you know, once a week. That's all I got.
Right.
And I don't think that works.
So you scratch off lotteries once a week?
No.
I'm just
No. I don't.
No.
So I'll never win the lottery.
That's a
I don't
tax
play.
on people that are bad at math.
You know,
It
yes,
really
yeah.
is.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
a
only
sucker- it's a
rich
sucker. It's a
scheme I
sucker.
know.
bet. It's a sucker. bet
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yeah, you know. So, but everything I have, it's proven. But it's the theory of compound.
Yeah.
So the earlier you start, the more you can get. I mean, I've been talking to my kid like, dude, $400 a month. When you retire, it's $1 million.
Yeah.
You know, well, that doesn't seem like a month. I'm like, well, that's better than, you know, 98.9% of the people in America.
Right. Right.
Hey, you've been listening to the Home Team. If you have any questions about what we've said, please reach out to me at loansfromtroy.com, or you can give me a call at 855-299-HOME. And as always, you can reach out to the Wyatt, and he's on the Facebook.
The Facebook.
And that's the Home Team 512. And this segment was brought to you by Security National Mortgage, where we turn houses into homes. See you in just a minute.